Hey y'all, it's Lindsay, and I wanted to share with you what I've been doing with my diet lately. In a recent video, I talked about whether or not keto works the second time around, and I said that I was doing something a little different, and I wanted to share that with y'all, but I wasn't at a point to be able to share that with y'all at that moment. When I first went keto back in 2016, I was pretty happy with the way life was. I did the keto diet to its fullest. I did some mug cakes and some candy and some baked treats and all of those things. I did a lot of vegetables. I did a lot of fat. I did a lot of eggs. I did a lot of everything, okay? Everything that is within the parameters of the keto diet. And I did it as healthfully as I could, and I dropped over 20 pounds. I was slimmed down to a comfortable weight for myself. I was happy with the way that my clothing fit. I was super happy with the way that my brain was functioning. And then with the whole pregnancy in 2017, and I've talked about this ad nauseum, so I won't go into too much detail further, but my sister-in-law, she got started on keto, I guess maybe about probably 9 months or so after I started keto, and then Jared hopped on board. And she talked about egg fasts, and she talked about doing them for herself. And I was pretty happy with the progress that I was making with my health. So I was never really inclined to testing out an egg fast for myself. And so I just avoided them altogether. I just thought, okay, I'm doing keto, it's great. I'm happy with where I'm at. And then the second time around doing keto has been a little bit different. And I talked about those variables that have changed since 2016 for myself. I will be sure to link that video over in the iCards so you can check it out if you haven't already. I decided that I needed to do something. Oh gosh, the girls are going nuts down there. I'm hoping to finish this quickly since they are barely preoccupied with playing right now. I decided I needed to do something a little bit different. I was trying to recreate a standard American diet, or just a junk food diet with the keto macros in mind. And I needed to completely shift my palate, completely shift my mindset. So I decided on a whim to go on an egg fast. And I know a lot of people, they plan for an egg fast. They don't just do it all of a sudden. And I'm not that way. I like to dive headfirst into a pool and then figure out if it is 4 inches deep or 40 feet deep. So I am not one, I love to research all the research all the time. But whenever I want to do something, I just execute and worry about the consequences later. Whether or not that's healthy, we're not here to debate that. That's what I did. So a week ago Friday, I guess what would that have been? Was that the 28th? I mean, this is irrelevant information. Okay, so March 29th, I went on an egg fast, and I found it to be the absolute easiest thing on the planet for me to do. A, because I decided to do it, and B, because I didn't have to think about anything, and I'm gonna have to change my battery. I'll be right back. I didn't have to think about anything as far as variety of foods and where is my fat gonna be, where is my protein gonna be, and what vegetables am I pairing with this. And I am a person who does like variety, and I want to have all the options available to me. But when push comes to shove, if I can just find that one thing that works and just hammer it out and keep doing it until it stops working, I'm gonna do that, because I want everything in my life to be on autopilot so that I am less stressed about it, or less energy is being used on those autopilot type things. So with keto, just knowing to stop eating carbs or not just all carbs, but knowing what food to eat puts it on autopilot for me. But I wasn't seeing the results I wanted. So continuing to do something and expecting different results, or expecting specific things that are not happening, is not really where I'm at with wanting to live life. So I decided to just do the egg fast. The basic rules of an egg fast are as follows. You have at least 6 eggs per day. For every egg you eat, you need to have 1 tablespoon of fat. And you can have up to 1 ounce of cheese per egg. So it's just kind of like a 1-1-1 type of a situation. And at least 6 eggs, so you're having at least 6 tablespoons of fat. If you want more than that, you are welcome to do that. You also can have keto coffee or fatty coffee or bulletproof coffee, which is just name branded products, with 1 tablespoon of MCT oil and 1 tablespoon of butter. You try to avoid all sweeteners. You try to avoid things like Diet Coke or just sweetened things in general. You generally follow the egg fast plan for 3 to 5 days, and then you switch back over to regular keto. There are quite a few blogs out there with meal plan ideas for an egg fast, and a lot of them have some really creative recipes that you can exercise on an egg fast that kind of break up the monotony for people who are sick of eggs. I found those websites very interesting, and it's great to go through and read the comments on those blog posts that these creators have put out there, because it really kind of gives you a lot of nuanced information and some anecdotal information about how people have transitioned off an egg fast or onto the egg fast. And on the website I Breathe, I'm Hungry, she puts out a 7-day egg fast plan. You follow the egg fast for 5 days, and then on day 6, you drop your last egg fast meal. You replace that with a ketogenic friendly meal, and then on day 7, you drop 2 of the egg fast meals and replace them with ketogenic friendly meals. And then day 8, you go back to just eating regular ketogenic diet. I found a different blog, and I can't recall the name of it. I'll have to see if I can dig through my history and find it. But this particular blogger, it's gonna drive me nuts that I can't remember her, talked about, instead of adding in vegetables on the day that you break your egg fast, just replace that last egg fast meal with a different protein. Like, don't change anything else. Don't add in a half cup of vegetables. Don't add in a plate of cabbage. Don't add those things in, because so many people were finding that they would drop a ton of weight on an egg fast, and then as soon as they moved back over to regular keto, they would gain back a bunch of weight. It's frustrating whenever you see that happen. And this blogger, she had a very logical approach to it. So you went to just having a different protein, and then the next day you swapped out 2 egg fast meals for different protein meals without the vegetables, and adding only a half cup if you felt it was absolutely necessary. And then just sort of like slowly working your way back up to having vegetables on the keto diet, so that you didn't notice that sudden gain on the scale. Now, I haven't been using the scale since Lent began. Back at the beginning of March was the last time I weighed in, so I don't really know if the scale has shifted, but my mindset for sure has shifted. I did the egg fast on a whim. I just randomly decided to do it. I didn't plan anything out. I love eggs, so I didn't feel like it would be a huge struggle for me. And the first and second days were spot on for me. I enjoyed the egg fast. I enjoyed not having to think about food. I enjoyed knowing that I could easily whip up an egg salad, easily whip up an omelet, add some pepper jack cheese, and I'm good to go. And just like, it was just so mindless for me. It was just autopilot, which is something that I crave in my life right now. So that felt really good. Day 3, I was kind of starting to feel like, oh, I need to have something sweet. And on the blog, was it Low Carb Yum? On a couple of different blogs, they've got various like egg fast friendly custard pudding recipes and those kind of things. And on the one that I followed, it had a ton of sweetener in it. And I felt like, that's ridiculous. They wanted you to put in a half teaspoon of liquid stevia and a quarter teaspoon of liquid monk fruit. And I was like, oh, that is a ton of sweetener for a 4-serving recipe. Like, mind boggled. So I was like, we're not playing that game. And I only wound up doing about 20 drops of stevia. And even then I felt like it was still a little bit too sweet, because my palate had started to say, oh, we don't really need this sensation, this palate sensation as much as we thought we did. And I say we because like as if there's like a whole committee in my head. I did eat those puddings and they were fine. They tasted all right. They were a little heavy on the sweetener, but at the same time I felt myself not really needing those things anymore. And a lot of times people talk about feeling deprived on an egg fast or getting sick of eggs. And here we are. Today is day 8 since I started that egg fast. Day 7 was the first time I introduced a different meat into what I've been eating, and that was just some bacon crumbles into an egg salad. And I also ate some pork rinds. I swapped out a few eggs for pork rinds. I'm struggling with this egg diet so much right now, but not because of the way that most people struggle with the egg diet. I'm struggling with the mentality that I have to come off of this and go back to a more complicated way of cooking food and prepping food. And that part just is like, oh, I need autopilot. And that's sort of the rub right here. I haven't had anything yet to eat for breakfast. I've just had some, fatty coffee with just MCT oil and a little bit of butter. That seems to be satiating me right now. And here's another piece that I did notice on egg fast. I noticed that day 1 and day 2, I was eating probably between 9 and 12 eggs. And then day 3 and 4, I didn't really intentionally reduce the number of eggs I was eating, but I just naturally didn't feel like I needed to eat as much. So I was probably down to like 8 or 9 eggs. And I stayed between 7 and 9 eggs until yesterday. Yesterday I reduced a couple. So yesterday I was only at probably like 6 to 7 eggs. And I just felt like this is so easy. I am not sick of eggs at all. In fact, whenever I do decide to eat this morning, I'm gonna go eat an omelet. And it's gonna be amazing. I have no problem eating the same things over and over again. I'm not sick of eggs. I'm having to force myself to eat something different. I've really enjoyed being on this egg fast, and I think this is something that I could for sure do during the weekdays and then eat just straight up keto on the weekends and be happy with my life. And yeah, I just feel really good right now. The other day, Indigo Neely, she posted a video talking about going back to keto and talking about carnivore, and I was like, antennas up. I am curious about carnivore. I had been hearing a lot about it over the past several months for sure. There's a woman, her name is Sarah. She has the YouTube channel called Pearls of Wisdom and Food on Keto, and I think that's how on keto, in keto, with keto. I can't remember the end tag. I'll link her channel below. I'll link Neely's channel below. I feel like most people that follow me are very aware of who Neely is. So this carnivore concept is super intriguing to me. I do have questions, and there are a gazillion resources out there that I want to sift through and read through. The whole idea of simplifying my diet by just eating animal kingdom sounds very much so enticing because I love that autopilot way of eating. And so that's a whole nother little side tangent. But I wanted to talk to you about measurements. On March 7th, I went through and I took my measurements. I took my shoulders and my neck and my upper chest, up under my armpits, and my bust and my rib cage and my belly, in 3 different spots, and my thighs and my hips and my, just all the things, right? The only true areas that cause me concern are my stomach, to be honest. And so I went through and I took all my measurements, and then I took them again today. So it's been just a couple of days shy of an entire month. I am very much so pleased with these differences. So I managed to drop 12 3/4 inches off of my entire body in the past 29 days, 30 days, something like that. So I am beyond elated. I have no clue what the scale has done. The scale could be up for all I know. And my pants are fitting me in a more comfortable way. My stomach alone, just at the lowest rib zone until you get to my hips, I managed to lose 8 inches. Just off of my waist in 3 different spots, above my belly button, at my belly button, and just below, a little bit below my belly button. And that's the spot where I have felt the most frustration. And I am just mind blown. And I don't know if that happened before doing the egg fast or if it was the egg fast was a catalyst for this inch loss, but it definitely encourages me, and it definitely helps me to see that the lack of stress regarding what I'm eating and knowing what to eat next, like I feel really good doing that. So I don't think this will be my last egg fast. I love eggs still, and I can't imagine ever letting them go from my life, but I am very intrigued by that carnivore diet concept. I'm not saying I'm going that way just yet, but I'm very intrigued by it. So anyway, that's what I've been doing for the past 8 days, and I am just like pleased as punch to see some kind of physiological shift in my body. Once Easter comes around, I'll probably weigh myself just to see what's up on the scale, but I don't feel like I'm gonna use the scale as my sole indicator of my body anymore. I know I never really felt beholden to the scale, but I definitely feel like measurements, the little body measuring tape is probably a little bit more impactful for me. Anyway, that is all I have to share with you. I really appreciate you watching. I would be curious to hear your thoughts. I will see y'all in the next video.